Hey guys, so Chalkfest is just right around the corner. We're getting so excited for the big event. And I just wanted to remind you guys of some of the things that you're going to want to bring with you. If it's your first year, it can be a little overwhelming. So we'll give you a whole list here of things you should consider bringing. And for those of you that have been there year after year, this is just going to serve as a reminder for you. So before we get to the art supplies, we're going to talk about how to keep you safe and healthy. It gets super warm, so we want to make sure that you bring a lot of water for yourself. A lot of people even bring a cooler with some extra drinks. Make sure to bring a folding chair or a blanket that you can take breaks on. Bring lots of sunscreen. We want to make sure you're applying that every few hours. As a frequent participant, I have left with some pretty nasty sunburns, so keep that sunscreen on. That's really important. You'll also want to consider bringing a hat to keep yourself out of the sun. It's also wise to pack some knee pads or a gardening pad, which we also have for sale. That way when you're kneeling on the pavement all day, your knees don't get all beat up. I have found it to be very helpful to pack some Clorox wipes or baby wipes. You'll notice that you get covered in chalk, and especially if your hands are covered in chalk, it can be hard to blend on your piece, and it's easy to spread colors. So after I finish using a color, say I use a lot of bright red, I'll wipe off my hands and then I can start a new color. Now on to the fun stuff. This is what you're going to need to bring along for your piece. So first off, if you are not drawing from your head, if you have some sample or reference images, you're definitely going to want to bring a few copies. Sometimes they blow away or get ripped, or you need a few extra copies if they get covered in chalk. So I always have a laminated version on hand as well. If you are planning to use the gridding system, you'll want to have that grid already on your image. It'll make it go a lot quicker to get started right away. I also find it handy to have a clipboard. You can clip your piece to it and then you're not worrying about it blowing away and chasing it all over the park. It's a good idea to bring a ruler or a yardstick. That way you can mark off for your grid or also utilize it for straight lines. Make sure to bring along spare chalks from past years. Even if it's not the color that you need, you can trade it with a neighbor and you'll both be better off. If you plan to use the water technique, you'll definitely want to bring along some large plastic cups or some small buckets. That way you can have one with new water, fresh water, and one that you're using to apply the chalk. Some people also like to use a spray bottle to wet the chalk down to get it to stick to the pavement, so that's another option if you plan to go that route. It can also be handy to fill up some containers of water to bring with you so you're not having to go refill all the time. If you're planning on using the water technique, you'll want to pack some paint brushes. Just a super cheap pack is all you'll really need because they'll get worn down anyway. I also love using the foam paint brushes. I have an example here. I get them in all sorts of different sizes. These aren't super reusable. They get worn down by the pavement. And if I use it for red, for example, I wouldn't want to use it for yellow later on because it will contaminate it. So get a bunch of these guys in different sizes, and that'll make your life a lot easier. Those should be about all the tools that you need for a successful weekend at Chalkfest, and I'll see you guys on the pavement.